is to be known. And although we know the worst about ourselves, God sees the best. And when we open ourselves to Him, He gives us the strength to become what we truly are. Those who fully enter the spirit of Rosh Hashanah emerge into the new year, charged, energized, focused, renewed, knowing that to be a Jew is to live a life in the presence of God, to sanctify life for the sake of God, and to enhance the lives of others. For where we bring blessings into other lives, there God lives. The shofar, the ram's horn, is God's wake-up call. On Rosh Hashanah, we step back from our life like an artist stepping back from his canvas, seeing what needs changing for the painting to be complete. I have asked a colleague and dear friend of mine, Rabbi Ferris, to demonstrate what a shofar is and how to sound it. Please note that due to the first day of Rosh Hashanah falling on the Holy Shabbat on Saturday, this year we only blow the shofar on Sunday, September the 20th. Thank you, Rabbi Ferris. That was extremely informative and greatly appreciated. The sound of heartfelt prayer, together with the piercing sound of the shofar, tell us that that is all life is, a mere breath. Yet breath is nothing less than the Spirit of God within us. We are dust of the earth, but within us is the breath of God. Rosh Hashanah is also the beginning of the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, the 10 days of repentance, culminating with Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. We reflect on the past year, recall the not so good we did, and the good we failed to do. We apologize, confess, and ask for forgiveness. And yet, there's almost none of this on Rosh Hashanah itself. There's no confession, no reference to the past year, no looking back. One of the few references that we are embarking on a process of teshuvah, of repentance, is in one of the prayers where it reminds us that today our fate is being written. Who will live and who will die? This begs the question, surely the beginning of the days of repentance should begin with repentance. The answer is one of the deepest truths of Judaism. To mend the past, you must first secure the future. Judaism sees religion as a way of shaping our habits of the heart, giving us the emotional strength to walk even through the valley of the shadow of death and survive to reach the light of day, the light of life. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, teaches us how not to be held captive by the past, by guilt on the one hand and resentment on the other. This doesn't mean that everything can be forgiven or that everything is our fault. But Yom Kippur does teach us that once a year, how to move on. Many of the survivors to the horrors of the Holocaust did not speak about those years, even to their spouses or their children, sometimes for as long as 40 or 50 years. Only when they had secured the future did they allow themselves to look back at the past. Only when they had built a life did they permit themselves to remember death. They had every right to feel angry. They had every right to feel betrayed, to rage against the world, but they didn't. Perhaps the reason they didn't was that they knew that anger and rage are also forms of imprisonment, ways of being held captive by the past. To be free, you have to focus on what you can do to build a better world, not on the sins others had committed against you. To be free, you have to let go of the anger and the pain and move on. You must build a future before you can look back in freedom at the past. And that's what we do on Rosh Hashanah. The Torah readings of the day are about the miraculous birth of two children, Isaac to Sarah and Samuel to Hannah. Because children are our deepest investment in the future. We proclaim God's sovereignty.